My name is Friedman, and I'm a Pilates instructor certified through Romana's Pilates. I'm going to take you through a basic Pilates mat work. This is very beginner friendly. It's also pretty good for people who might have injuries or conditions. Just make sure that if you have any kind of physical challenges like that, that you have a doctor's clearance before you do any kind of new workout program. That said, if any of the exercises don't agree with you, and that little voice in your head says, I don't think this is quite right for me, then take a break. I'll call out modifications that you could use, or just take a little rest and you'll rejoin us when you can. I'm doing this exercise series on the floor, so you may find if you're on a hardwood floor that these thin yoga mats might be a little too hard on your back. So I put 2 or 3 down on the floor for myself. If you're on carpeting, you're probably just fine. Also, you might want to have a hand towel nearby. We're going to use it as a pillow for the head if you feel like you need that for your neck alignment. So I just have one of these and I fold it in half and then in half again, and I'll have it nearby if I need it. If you have trouble getting up and down off the floor, you can do this whole sequence in your bed. A firm mattress is usually better, but you'll just do the best you can. So we get ourselves down on the mat, and we're going to start with a few pre-Pilates exercises that get you ready for the traditional mat sequence. So, holding behind your thighs, so you're giving yourself some support, you want to get down on the mat with nice control. So we're just going to lie down as best you can. You want to have your knees bent and your feet flat, and what you're trying to do is start to engage your stomach, what Joseph Pilates called the powerhouse, so that you feel your back nice and long on the mat. So you have your knees bent, feet flat. When you pick your head up, you should have your knees right in line with the center of your hip joints, and then your feet are in the line with the knees. We've got a nice straight line from the feet to the knees to the hips, and then long through the neck and press the arms down. Now, I'm able to get the back of my head on the mat and my neck is nice and long. I'm kind of looking a little forward rather than up, so I can lengthen my neck. But if you find that it's really hard for you to get out of this chin up position, that's where you need the towel. And then you just put it right behind your skull. So you don't want to roll it up and put it behind your neck. You want to put it right behind the back of your head, so you have to really lengthen your neck yourself, right? I don't need it, so I'm just going to put my towel off to the side. So to start, open up the collarbones nice and wide. Press your arms firmly into the mat. So your arms are not relaxed. We want to glue the fingers together and really stretch. Send that blood flow all the way from underneath your armpits out through your fingers. Now we inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, and feel all that whole abdominal wall scooping down into the mat. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. So as you keep going, breathing in deeply through the nose, exhaling through the nose, try to scoop your abdominal muscles down, like someone took a big ice cream scoop to your belly. You want to be mindful that as you're pulling your stomach down, you don't tuck your hips under, so your tailbone is reaching upward. Keep your hips nice and flat, and we're just anchoring the stomach through the back, feeling like you're as long on the mat without space as possible. Now, we're going to add some movement to that. So keep breathing through your nose and not your mouth. Inhale as you go up. Exhale, reach the arms away from you, but keep your stomach pulling down in opposition so your back doesn't arch off the mat. Inhale back up to the ceiling and exhale down to the floor. And inhale up again. And exhale, reach, pull the stomach in, feel that two-way stretch through the waist. Inhale the arms up and exhale down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale up and exhale, reach. Try to keep your hands in line with your shoulders, no narrower, no wider. Inhale up and exhale down. Now we're going to work in the side plane. Take your arms up to the ceiling and your fingertips should be a little forward of your shoulders, so not up by your head. Turn your palms towards each other, soften the elbows so your arms look like parentheses. They're not locked and they're not sharp like brackets. Nice and soft. Now, open the chest wide and push those upper arms away as you inhale. Exhale, narrow the waist and bring the arms back up. Inhale, push out like the air is really heavy. Exhale, scoop it back up. Remember, we're nasal breathing so that you have to use your stomach muscles to squeeze the air out, and then you're not blowing with your mouth and drying out your airway. Inhale, reach, and exhale back up, and press your arms firmly into the mat. Now here, even though we're working on the upper body, arms connecting into the upper abs, make sure you're squeezing your bottom just a little and pressing your heels in so you feel all that nice engagement in the bottom of the body while your legs are plugged into your hips. And now we're going to take a full circle. If you have shoulder issues, just watch your range of motion. It shouldn't hurt your shoulders. You're going to go where you can. If you can reach all the way up and back behind you, that would be the goal if you can. And then we're going to reach out, fingertips reaching to the side walls and down. Keep your arms off the floor so you're not relaxing and dropping into your shoulders. We have a big inhale back, exhale out and around. Now, if that's too much and it bothers your shoulder, you can just keep your circles in front of you and just go where it doesn't bother your shoulder. If you have issues, do one more where you can, either up to the ceiling or keep going if you can, and exhale all the way around. Now, press the arms firmly down again. Feel how those upper arm muscles are plugged into your trunk. We're going to reverse the circle. Hover your arms a little off the floor. Reach out to the side as you inhale. Go over your head if you can. And exhale down. And again, inhale to reach. All the way over your head. Exhale down. If it bothers your shoulder, you would stop at shoulder height. And then as you come around, it's going to stay in front of your shoulders. And that may even be too wide for you. Maybe you just do a little oval instead of a full circle and press all the way down. Protect your body and do what you need to do. Now we're going to work on lifting from the knee. So you want to have a nice right angle at your leg. We're going to squeeze those bottoms together like you're trying to make them smaller and press through the arms. Take an inhale to prepare. As you exhale, scoop that stomach down and lift the right knee up over your hip. And place it back down by squeezing the back of the thigh. We're going to change legs. Exhale to float the knee up, and inhale to put it back down. So be mindful that there's no tension in your neck and shoulders. You're trying to press the arms down to stabilize the upper body, and we're just moving that thigh bone in the hip joint. So you want to watch. This is not about hip flexion. You're not relaxing and pulling your knee all the way in. It just goes to that right angle and lower down, and one more, lift up and lower down. Now, you can continue to do that, or to make it a little more challenging, we're going to start from this tabletop position. So you're pulling your stomach in, feel the inner thighs engaged even though there's a little space between your knees. As you exhale, reach the thigh forward, light touch of the toe, and inhale back up. So your goal is, if you could touch the toe to the mat with control, that's a nice range of motion. If it's too much on your back, then just do a little one. Go only as far as you keep your stomach pulled in, you're exhaling and inhaling. We're going to do one more each leg. Exhale only as far as your back stays on the mat. That's always the most important thing. We're strengthening the abdominals and the back and keeping it nice and stable. Now, relax your knees into your chest. If you have knees that don't bend so well, always hold behind the thighs so you're not putting pressure on your knee joint. If your knees are fine, you can grab shins or ankles and let that stretch. It's delicious. You want to feel your stretch in your lower back. All right, we're going to put the feet back down. Pick your head up and make sure that you're okay in your alignment. Same alignment we started in, just a little parallel. Now you're going to stack your hands, not interlacing. Stack them nice and straight through the wrists, and put your hands right at the base of your skull and the top of your neck. So you're going to give it some support and lower down. So we're going to use that to help you stretch and strengthen your neck and get a little deeper into your upper abdominals. If you have neck issues where picking your head up even with support hurts you, then just skip this part for now. You can leave your hands there and just focus on the abdominal engagement without lifting your head. So in order to lift the head, we lengthen the back of the neck, bring the chin towards the chest, and curl up. So your spine is like a little candy cane going up and over your breastbone, way in there, and lower back down. And we're going to do that again. Lengthen the back of the neck. Use your hands to help your neck stretch up and over your breastbone. Pull the stomach in and lower back down. We're going to do that one more time. Exhale, scoop it in. Don't tuck your hips. Keep them flat and make those upper abdominals pull down, 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 and lower your head. Now, if you need the support behind your neck, keep your hands there. If you don't, reach your arms forward for a little more challenge. So we're going to reach those shoulders away from the ears, press and have energy through the arms. Same movement, lengthen the back of your neck, bring your chin to your chest, exhale, and scoop up just to the bottoms of your shoulder blades at most, and lower back down. So that's making sure we're using the stomach and not straining the back. Chin to the chest, lengthen your neck, exhale, and reach like your fingertips could reach all the way past your toes, and lower back down. Don't forget, we're scooping the stomach and keeping the bottoms engaged the whole time. And again, lengthen the neck, chin to the chest, curl up, scoop. How deep can you get in those upper abs? Right underneath your breastbone. And lower back down. And then go back and give your knees a hug. Remember, if you got knee issues, hold behind the thighs so you don't put pressure. And it's a nice stretch. You can give yourself a little side to side. And then place your feet back down with control. So that is your pre-Pilates warm-up. It's getting the limbs plugged into what Joseph Pilates called the powerhouse, all the muscles of the trunk, stomach, back, bottom. Now we move on to the hundreds, which is your non-impact warm-up. So we have progressions with the legs. The safest one is just feet down in that parallel position with your neck down. If you're okay on your neck, you would lift your head up. If you want a little more challenge, you can lift your legs to tabletop. And then ultimately, we would try to stretch the legs and squeeze the inner thighs. So I'm going to walk through those progressions as we do the exercise. And if your neck's okay, you're going to scoop up, reach the arms, and we pump up and down. Inhale through the nose, 5 counts. Exhale through the nose, 5 counts. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you have any strain in your neck, you just put your head down. For a little more challenge, we lift the legs up to tabletop and keep breathing. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want a little more challenge still, extend the legs and squeeze them together. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3. We're going to do one more set. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower your head, bend your knees into your chest. So the goal would be up to 10 sets of those breaths, but you do as many as you can do with good form. All right, we're going to come up to sitting. If you have a tight or tender lower back, the safest way to come up is to roll all the way into your side and come up. If that's not your issue, then you just lift your head and sit up as best you can. We're going to do the roll up. I'm going to stick to the basic one because even if you're flexible enough to do the more challenging ones, this one just feels really nice on your back. So we're in that same parallel position. You're going to hold behind your thighs, wide elbows, but shoulders down. So we don't want to hunch the upper back. Lengthen your neck. That same up and over feeling you just did in your hundreds, we're going to start there. Pull your lower stomach back, tighten your bottom, and just roll your hips under. So you're trying to get the hips and the waist into the lower back on the mat. And then use your stomach with a little help from your arms to come up and keep that lift up and over to stretch your lower back. And again, your feet have to stay down because you're trying to anchor from the back of the legs as you roll through your spine. And come back up. That's it. Now, if you feel like you've got it, you can go a little bit lower, but we're going to keep the head and shoulders off the mat, so we have to work the stomach. And curl back up and over. So my image for this is like my back is a sail on a sailboat and the wind's coming at me. And you're going to billow out your back, stretch it out, roll down, use your stomach, and come back up. Use the arms a little bit if you need to. Now if you feel like you're pretty strong and you don't need your arms, you can do your last one with your arms reaching forward. Exhale as you go all the way to the bottom of the shoulder blades. And take a breath, and exhale and scoop yourself up, and give yourself a nice up and over stretch. Now, in the last one, we're going to go all the way down, but do it the same way so you're not dropping into the floor, and roll yourself down. And now we're going to go into our single leg stretch and single leg circles. So for this, you can bring your feet in a little bit if they scoot it. Bend your right knee into your chest. Give it a little stretch, hug it in. And now take your knee just right over your hip. Hold behind your thigh, that same stacked hands that we did before, and we're gonna just stretch the leg and bend. So try not to pull it because it makes your hips come up. Keep your hips flat and just stretch where you can. So most people are gonna have to go a little more forward than they want to if you've got any hope of stretching the back of your knee. So you're anchoring your hip and you stretch away. Always pull your stomach in so you keep your back down. And don't forget to breathe. And bend. All right, so that was our little warm up for the hamstring. Press your arms down. We're going to go into the single leg circle. Stretch the leg up. Rotate it just a little bit like you're turning a key in the lock. And long toes. We're going to imagine we're drawing a circle on the ceiling with our toes. Cross over to the left. Make a little circle and center. Cross, circle around and up. 3 more. Cross, circle around and up. Cross, circle around, keep the stomach pulled in, and cross, circle around and up. If your leg got tired, let it relax and come back up, and then we're going to reverse the circle. So the goal here is we're strengthening that right hip and everything else is stable. It's not moving. Open a little to the right, draw your circle, center. Inhale, circle around, exhale. 3 more. Inhale, circle around, center. Inhale, exhale as you come around, and 1 more. Little circles on the ceiling, nice and stable through the hips, and bend the knee in, and then you can give it a little hug. And then we're going to change legs. So make sure your knee is in line with your hip, that foot is flat, nice and flat through the hips, stomach pulled in. Bend the left knee in. Either hold behind the thighs if your knees aren't so good, or shins if your knees are fine. Give it a little stretch, that's just your little release, and then back off on it. You want your hips flat. Stack your hands and hold behind your thigh. Sometimes if you're having a hard time reach, just hold a little lower. And then we stretch the leg and bend and stretch. So notice when I'm bending, I'm not pulling, I'm keeping it there. The bend is just a little relaxed for the hamstring. The work is on the stretching up. So feel that opposition of the stomach pulling down as the leg reaches, and relax. Now, press your arms down. We're going to get ready for the single leg circle on the other side. Anchor those hips, nice long arms, press the leg up, and then again, like you're turning the key in the lock, turn it out just a little bit, and then you feel like you're really holding onto your hips. Your bottoms are squeezing like they're in a vice grip. Nothing moves but the leg. We cross over, draw that little circle on the ceiling, and center. Cross to the right, circle around, center. So you're imagining that you're just drawing a little circle on the ceiling, and every time you want to come back to the midline. 1 more. That foot ends in line with your nose and your navel. Now reverse it. Inhale out to the left, exhale around and up. Inhale, be mindful of that other hip. It's not moving. You're really stable. Around and up, and open, around and up. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, exhale, finish in the center, and bend the knee and give it a little hug. Okay, so now we're going to sit up again. Remember, you can either roll onto your side if you need to do that for your back, or just sit yourself up. All right, so we're going to work on rolling like a ball. Rolling like a ball is not for everyone, so if you have serious back issues like herniated discs or osteoporosis or sometimes arthritis in your spine or your hips, then we don't want to roll because it might be too much pressure on your spine. But you can work on your balance, and if you don't have those issues, then we'll roll after we work the balance. You always want to make sure your space is clear, so make sure you have some room behind you. You're going to squeeze your bottom and lift it up so you bring yourself to the front of your mat a little bit. All right, so we're in a frog shape. So your knees are the width of your shoulders, your heels are together, and you're going to hold either behind the thighs, especially if your knees are not so good, or give your legs a big hug and hold on to the front of your shins or your ankles. We're going to come up onto the tiptoes, squeeze the bottom, pull the stomach in, and here's that nice up and over stretch like we did at the beginning of the roll-up. So just by pulling your stomach in, see if you can't pick your feet up and balance. It'll tip you back a little bit, but you try not to fall backwards. And then lower the toes. This is not as easy as it looks. Pull the stomach in, find your balance, and lower down. We're going to do that 1 more time. Pull the stomach in, you rock a little bit behind your tailbone, and put the feet down. Right? So if you're not rolling, that's your version of the exercise. If you want to make it a little more challenging, we're going to roll back to the shoulders and come right back up. So tip back and find your balance. You're going to pull your stomach in and lift your hips. and come back. And try not to put your feet down if you can help it. Pull the stomach in, lift, and come back. So if you roll back and then you don't get back up, that's okay. You just do it until you can. Roll back and come up. 2 more of those. We're massaging the back into the mat. None of us can see our massage therapist right now. So this is what you're going to do to give your back a little massage. And rest. Okay, scoot your bottom back. So you're going to lift up and back. And we're going to go into the stomach series. So the first exercise is called the single leg stretch. You're going to bring your right knee into your chest. Stack your hands again, and you're either going to put them behind your thigh if you have knee problems, or below the knee if you don't, with the elbows nice and wide like this, so you feel those upper arms. Now the other leg, bend it in, and take it up to the ceiling. Make sure it doesn't go towards your head where your tailbone comes up. It's straight up. If you're a little stronger in your stomach and your back is stable, you can challenge yourself by sending it a little bit more away from you. If your neck's okay, you're going to lift your chin to your chest the same way we did it before. Lengthen the neck, chin to the chest, curl up, find that scoop. Now we're going to change legs. Switch, exhale. Switch, exhale. Switch, exhale. And switch, and switch. 2 more sets. Holding the leg in, holding the leg in. You want to work your stomach, stretch your neck, stretch out your legs. Bend both knees in and lower your head. So that's the single leg stretch, 1 leg stretching out at a time. Now we do the double. Again, holding behind the thighs or at the shins, elbows wide. If your neck's okay, you're going to exhale and curl up. You can also do this with your head down if you need to. We're going to extend the legs and reach and hold on to the outside of your thighs. As you exhale, pull the legs in. Inhale, stretch long and narrow. Exhale, pull it in. We're going to do 3 more of those. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, pull it in. And 2 more, stretch. And exhale, pull it in. And inhale, stretch, looking down at your navel. And exhale, pull it in. And rest your head. And we're going to sit up 1 more time. Remember, either roll onto your side or just sit yourself up. And we have the spine stretch forward. So this is the last exercise in our basic mat sequence. We're going to separate the legs so that they're wider than your mat. Now here, you want to sit up nice and tall, like one of those old-fashioned dolls on a shelf where their legs just go out and the back is nice and straight. Ideally, you would have completely straight legs, a completely straight back, and you could just lift up tall. That's not easy. So if you find that you're challenged in sitting up straight, just bend your knees a little bit because this is the most important part. Reach your arms out in front of you, sit tall in your sits bones, and lift yourself up out of your hips. If you lifted any more, you would just levitate off the floor. We're going to drop the fingertips down towards the mat, reaching the arms. Again, lengthen the neck, bring your chin to your chest. As you exhale, you're going to lift up and over your waist to stretch your lower back. Reaching the arms away and lift up tall. So people with back conditions, make sure that you're lifting and not compressing your spine. Up and over the top. And you're just going to go where you feel a nice stretch. Try not to hunch the shoulders. Pull the stomach in. Feel like the top of your head is lifting up and over to reach into the mat between your knees. And lift up tall and reach the arms. And again, fingertips to the mat. Lengthen the back of the neck, chin to the chest. Exhale, look at your stomach. Are you pulling it in and exhaling all your air out as you go down? And roll back up and lift. Go where you feel a nice stretch and no strain. And again, up and over. Exhale, stretch, stretch, stretch. And lift back up. Inhaling and filling up with air. Now for a nice little bonus lift, clasp your hands together, lift your arms up, be mindful if you have shoulder issues, and feel like those fists are pulling you up, 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 up out of both hips, and then reach the arms out and away. And that is your basic mat. Thank you.